My name is Bjørn Ekelund and I come from a company called Human Factors, and I'm very happy today to be able to share some of the experiences that we have been having in the Middle East in the application of one of our central concepts. I'm very pleased to be here at the conference network meeting with a focus on communication and dignity that Evelyn Linter and her group is hosting. The presentation I will do is based upon a concept called Bougie Icebreaker, and I will tell first something about how that concept has evolved and how it's being used today, then share some ideas for how to use this kind of concept into more conflict-oriented situations, and at the end share some of the empirical results from the work that we have been doing in the Middle East. First of all, the Bougie Icebreaker is a concept that consists of a questionnaire and a seminar in combination. The questionnaire gives each candidate a response on how much they get scores from red and blue and green, basically. And red, blue and green are categories that emerge from a marketing work that we did in 1995, where we basically were aiming at getting more and more consumers in Norway to use less energy. And in that market communication, red, blue and green was three main different strategies for communicating and consulting, basically. That campaign was successful, and that led to the customer of us to give us the request to create a questionnaire that could identify what kind of market segments they were interacting with in different kind of situations. That kind of questionnaire was integrated into teamwork and team development exercises, and gradually a seminar evolved where we used this kind of questionnaire to create some kind of team role understanding, interaction understanding and communication training. When we saw these kind of seminars happening, we realized that very often people started to talk more open and more freely about things that were quite difficult. And that created some kind of curiosity among us to try out how is it possible to use such kind of seminar and a questionnaire in more conflict-oriented situations. But before going into the practical use, let me share some of the structure of the seminar. The seminar takes roughly 1 hour, 1 hour and 15 minutes. People are informed that they have come to a seminar to learn something about interaction. And psychologists, they know that people who know themselves, they are better off in that kind of interaction. If they know the others too, they are even better off to have a good interaction knowing the other. But if they also know something about the other, then and how they think about them, they can strategically decide how to approach the other. Then we give them a questionnaire. They are filling in a questionnaire, get a result on red, blue and green, which is meaningless for them. And then we put them into 3 different kinds of groups based upon what kind of color that has most dominant response by each individual. So we get an even number of group people, for example 6 green people, and then 6 red people, and then 6 blue people. And in each group we ask them to describe what is a great thing about themselves and what they think about the other. That leads into some kind of in-group feeling and also some kind of communication about the other group that sometimes evenly comes out being politically incorrect statements about the other, which creates some kind of tense situation, this self-bragging and this kind of not politically correct way of saying things about the other. And when they share this kind of information in between the groups, it very often leads to laughter and self-reflection, but also understanding of the others, and also realizing that the others are also laughing, self-reflecting about how the categories are being created and what kind of effect it has into that situation. This kind of positive experiences, by sharing more than normally, leads to a situation where people feel more free to speak more openly about things that has been difficult in their own background. And we think that's one of the reasons why trust evolves around it. When we realized that this kind of exercise had a huge impact for creating people's feeling of freedom to voice their concern, we decided to try this out in contexts that were more challenging. So we decided to contact people in Northern Ireland, South Africa, Balkan and the Middle East. We started to do some kind of research in 2010 and 11 in Balkan together with academics there. But most interestingly, we got an opportunity to work with researchers at Hebrew University in Jerusalem. And they said that if we should try this out in the Middle East in more conflict-ridden situations, we should try it out first in a more safe context, which basically meant to try it out with the students at Hebrew University, which basically constitutes of mainly Jewish people born in Jerusalem and Israel, but also some immigrant Jews and 10% with Arabic background. We did this with more than 800 students these last 2 years, and some of the results from the first semesters have been analyzed and basically shows us that the results of the seminar, seen from the perspectives from the participants themselves, leads to increased trust, more positive effect, less negative effect, more openness to others and more creativity basically. And we think that that constitutes a safe platform to say that it could be tried out in situations that is more in real life conflict situation around it. We also developed, together with the researchers at Hebrew University, a trust model that describes the trust components of the seminar that we theoretically assume leads to this kind of positive results around it. And in our paper and in our PowerPoints, there is a better descriptions of this kind of trust model basically. With this kind of trust model, we have also tried out to use this same kind of model to evaluate seminars. We have also tried it out, the same kind of seminars in the Palestinian area, and including into situation where we have been combining people who shall work with conflict resolution processes where they both come from Palestine and Israel and even Jordan. And it seems that the use of the concept in such kind of situations leads to the same kind of results that we have seen in other places, but also been documented in the Middle East. Today we are in a situation that we are increasing our research together with the Middle East groups we have contact with. First of all, Hebrew University, but we also try to get into contact with more academic institutions in the Arabic Palestinian area in order to combine research and empirical data from both areas around it. And today we are basically sharing this kind of knowledge and also supporting processes that can lead to such kind of trials and hopefully also more practical oriented research around it. For this group of people who are very much focusing on dignity and communication, we really think that this kind of exercise, this kind of seminar, creates a situation where good, ideal way of communicating is easily seen and understood. And we think that this could be a very good way to role model a communicative practice that we think are much better off than most other kind of communication patterns we see in conflict situations. And I think that's the most important connection to the dignity context that is being created by the people here. But for us, it's also a contribution to creating some kind of shared knowledge on how to facilitate peace in the Middle East. We think that this kind of tool can increase trust fast and quite reliable in early stages of processes, and that will reduce both risk and increase time spent for real good problem solving. And we think that that's the most important contribution for this kind of tool. I hope this presentation has given you an opportunity to see some elements of what we have been doing. And if you want to read and know more, please look upon the presentation that is possible to read from the home pages. And if there is anything more you want to know, please contact us in our company called Human Factors or diversityicebreaker.com, which is also an entrance possibility for getting more knowledge. Thank you for listening.